Alina. How are you?
I'm doing well, Teresa. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. So I watched your lesson today. I thought went really well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Saw a lot of different things. But before we get into that, how do you think the lesson went today?
I think it went well. I think that she came away with an understanding of the main idea of the chapter. We kind of had a discussion at the beginning, or after she was done reading, but before we worked on the details part of it. And through our discussion, she came to the gist of the chapter, which was good. She was able to identify supporting details that were important to the main idea. She was able to pull out those details that were just kind of interesting but not as important.
Good. So it sounds like we're really working on, I know in the previous lesson, focusing on those questions of what will help us to better understand the text. So it sounds like today she did a good job with that.
Yeah, she did.
Good. What did your 2D do, or what did she say that made you feel that the lesson went as well as you think it did?
Well, she was participating with me, so we took turns. She was sharing her thoughts, and I was writing them on the board, and then I was sharing my thoughts, and she was writing them on the board. So she was able to kind of keep up and hold her own in the discussion that we were having and give several examples.
Good. Glad.
Yeah.
Glad. Did what you do today, how did it compare with what you had planned on doing today? Did you alter it in any way, or did you stick to your plan?
I pretty much stuck to the plan. I think the only thing that I changed as I was in the midst of the lesson was that I let her, kind of be more engaged in it by going up and writing and kind of switching off, taking turns instead of just her sitting there while I write everything.
Right, and that's a good choice. Allowing your 2D to get up, kind of move around, feel as though the lesson is theirs too.
Right.
Giving them ownership. So that's a great thing to do. Excellent. When you look back at your original goals for the lesson, do you think that your 2D achieved those goals that you had in mind for her today?
I do, because she was able to identify the main idea correctly, and she was able to, at the end, write a summary of the main idea, including that incorporated the supporting details that we had talked about. Okay. So, before this lesson today, she was pulling out information that wasn't really relevant to understanding the chapter. So today she really kind of honed in on what was important.
Excellent.
So I think she's coming away with an understanding now
of the important versus this almost the added fluff.
Right.
That the author
exactly. And we talked about how, sometimes authors put it in just to make it more interesting. Otherwise, we're not going to read the book. We're not going to buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. That sounds like a really good lesson, and it sounds like it went really well today.
Yes.
So after watching your lesson, what you wanted me to focus on was the wait time that you provided to your 2D before you provided her with some additional prompts. And I recorded 10 questions that you asked, and of those 10, there were only a few that I found that you were giving either 2 seconds to, or sometimes 0 wait time in between before giving another prompt. But overall, I really think that you had some good wait time.
Okay.
You were asking the question, and it didn't sound as though, or didn't look even painful for you to wait, as sometimes it really is. And your 2D's answers, they were coming right away. It wasn't as though she was delayed with her response. Sometimes when I listened to the question, there were a few, like for instance, there was one where you waited a second before prompting, and it was a prompting while she was trying to say something. Yeah. But I don't think, you meant to interfere or overstep that. I just think it happened at the same time. So, and it's something you can't really control if you both start talking at the same time. But then there was 2 others where, I saw 2 seconds in between. So you gave her some wait time. And sometimes the wait time is important to give them more wait time, but also at the same time, for instance, the question was, what's the main idea of chapter 8? So that's a big question. So she's not coming away with any answer. Your wait time, I think, was appropriate, because you don't want her to ponder for too long, because then she can get discouraged. So I think that was good on your part. But I think moving forward, from the lesson that I saw previously and the modeling, and through this lesson, what I saw in your work with her, I think that you're definitely doing a great job. And it sounds like through the discussions that she's really able to pull those details out. And I think that she's definitely improved since last week when I saw the lesson. So that's always a good thing.
So, did you find that most of when I was not giving her enough wait time, was I giving her a prompt, or was I giving her the answer more?
You were prompting,
Okay.
and it was a prompt toward the answer. It wasn't explicit answer,
Okay.
so that was a good thing. I found like sometimes you were like, so now what, or how is this useful? So it's just more prompting to get her to engage her thinking. So it was a good thing that there were no answers coming afterwards. But no, you did really well. So I would definitely be proud.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.